So everybody, welcome into the show. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're going about your day in a happy and prosperous, productive way, I guess. Me, man, I'm going to continue talking about this tiny home. I looked at the address for the donations for that. Nada. I said, damn, ain't that a bitch? But I've been thinking about this more and more and more every time. I think there's nothing better for me to talk about. That video that kind of got me thinking about it that I saw on Twitter, I think it was on X. It was a video of a tiny home with one bedroom for $130,000. And it got me looking, and as you guys know from the last video, I started looking on Zillow, like, let me see something, man. And I found quite a few that have 2 and 3 bedrooms that are just slightly bigger than that. Like, and I was like, yeah, that's, you know what? That sounds good, man. It sounds good. I was talking with my wife today, and I was coming to the realization that I said, damn, I'm thinking, man, like, man, $30,000-$40,000 is a lot of money, but it's like really not. And I was like, I said, damn, I'm spending damn near that much in a single year to borrow wherever I'm at. I said, damn, I buy a tiny home every year. So over the last few years, I could have bought 5 of them shits, There was a time where I could have bought this shit all cash. Last bull run, man, I was just on top of the world, and man, times they are different. And I think a lot of people are in that situation, or my donation address for this would have just filled up. I feel like it would have, because I don't think it's outrageous. It's hard to think about life in that way, but I think I'm willing to eat the downsides L for this, because it just opens me up to, like, instead of just working hardcore and getting just floating, I'm able to just use my money for something actually useful, maybe some investments or some other things that might actually move me forward financially, as opposed to just like, yo, I make a shit ton of money, I give it all away. I make a shit ton of more money, I give it all away. Like, today's a perfect example of that. I just worked all fucking day. At the end of the day, what happens? Oh man, how cool is this? My overdrive light starts blinking, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm working today, and of course it's snowing, and someone just told me not to go to work. I generally try to avoid snow days, but due to lifing, I just, sometimes I cannot. I have to. I'm forced to go work. And what do? I'm going through my day. I have a spectacular day otherwise. I'm feeling great, It started off great. I made great money, as I should. And then it's like, man, like and I didn't know what it meant, because I've never had this happen before. I have different types of issues with different cars and shit. And so I look, and my overdrive light starts flashing. So I'm pressing the fucking overdrive button. Like, what the fuck is this? And it wouldn't stop. And then I'm jerking a little bit, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I Googled the shit. Transmission fault. Like, you motherfucker. Like, and that's kind of like how I feel about so many things. Like, I'm just constantly engaged in doing the right thing. Like, most people, they have a problem, and it's most likely a self-inflicted wound, and I'm no different. But for me, it's not for lack of drive or effort or, like, motivation to, like, oh, I don't think I'm special. I don't think I should just earn from no effort. I don't feel like I'm entitled to a life where I don't labor for money, even though I think it's a very disgusting idea that we've gotten accustomed to as people. I think we've really fucked up the game of life for each other by the way we judge or measure people or their value, or like whether they should have certain things based on an income, but I don't think I'm above it. You know, I've been born into this world, into this Western society, and life is not easy. You know, I had the perspective of a guy. You know, I came across a guy. He's going back to his home country. He spent 31 years in America. He got a wife and some kids, and he was actually a truck driver, which was really interesting. And he, you know, I guess he got a DUI. You know, he's on his wife broke up with him. He's got a daughter with her. They've been here for 31 years. They're from India, you know, and it was like, okay, so I'm talking with my man. He's really cool too, like, and he's letting me, you know, he's pouring his heart out to me, and it's like really interesting to just get his perspective of like he's ready to go home and he's going to the village, and it was like, okay, like he's so happy, like, man, fuck this, you know, I've been here 31 years. I had everything. And I fucked up, you know. My wife left me. I got upset. I was drinking and driving. They snatched his CDL. His daughter's grown now. She doesn't really have time for him. She's going to college. And you could tell he's a little depressed about this. But now he's here alone. He doesn't have the relationship. His family is now, you know, his daughter's now old. And he was telling me, he was like, man, while they're little, you know, you need to be there, because every day when she's little, they're gonna follow you and daddy, you know. But then when they're old, oh, I'm going to college, I don't have time for you, you know. And it was just kind of sad, because I have kids still. Thankfully, I really do thank God for that. Because I would feel probably as equally as empty as him without him. You know what I mean? And they're the reason that I keep destroying myself, in a sense, and keep going, like, even when I'm exhausted, like, because I am, but like, the stakes are too high, you know. I have to keep going. And I've told my wife many times, like, I wouldn't have did this for myself. If I was a single man, oh man, I'd have got me with a hottie and you know, some little bullshit job. I would barely have to earn, you know. I'd find me a nice single woman and we'll be living it up, except I have a family and my family man. And in the 20th year anniversary with my wife, boy, I'm failing harder than a motherfucker, you know. But again, not for lack of effort. But this guy, he went home, you know, or he's going home. He's going to the airport tomorrow. And you know, it's just weird. He's like, you just work here, work. Like, I spent 31 years here. I had everything. I worked so hard, and you know, one thing is fuck it all up. And it's like, you know, he's going to go and enjoy his life now, because the money that he stacked up while he's here, you know, he can go home with it, because he doesn't have to give money to his daughter or his ex-wife anymore and all this. And so he wants to go home, and he's going to live a very comfortable, easy life now. And that has just appealed to me so much. So I've been talking about this donation address, and it was a joking thing in a way at first, but I did say, you know what? There's no reason I shouldn't have it there, because I do feel a little type of way. Like, I don't really like to ask anybody for shit. And sometimes when I find that I do, man, the worst thing that can happen is for someone to like say no, because you just feel like you've embarrassed yourself, you know, for no reason. Like, if you need something, you need it. But then if you ask for it, you know, like, lots of people, they be like, hey man, something's going on with you, man. Why didn't you say something? Because you know why, bro. Like, at the end of the day, nobody likes that person. Nobody wants to be that friend all the time. Maybe once in a while, maybe when it counts, or when you think it matters. Yeah, for sure. But you know, when the worst feeling you could have is to ask someone for something and they say no, because you can't be upset with them. You don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe they just don't have it, or maybe they just feel like you're fucking with them and stuff like this. And you know, ultimately you feel bad. You know, I had the experience of someone really coming through for me in this crazy time, right? And of course something else happened, and I couldn't help myself. I said, you know what, man, fuck, you know, like, let me just say something, you know. And the person said to me, I don't do that for friends. right? And I said, damn, you know, it was fucking heartbreaking, because in the moment, what was on the line was me being truly and totally fucked in a situation with my little ones and all this. And I was so heartbroken for a second, but I again, because I discuss my thoughts with my wife so frequently. I'm like, yo, you know what? You know, at first I could only focus on that part, the part I was hurt about. But I said, I just kind of glazed. I went right past the part where he said, for my friend. I don't do that for my friends. And I said, you know, that's the most important part. At the end of the day, this person still looks at me as a friend, whether something did or could or couldn't have happened, you know, and I'm truly still thankful for that, obviously, you know, and everything else and anything else. But nobody wants to be that guy. So I keep thinking, like, man, you know what? I have to change the situation that I'm in, or this is just gonna continue to happen. Like, at the end of the day, I'm too close to the edge where no matter how hard I work, I'm not stacking paper. You know, I'm just going about my day, earning the money I need to survive on a regular basis. And then, like, boy, one fuck up is all it takes. And that's a lot of people, and it's shocking. You know, a lot of people is like 2 paper checks away from being broke, 2 paper checks away from being evicted, homeless, whatever the case may be. And it's real, yo. And there's so many fucking people, and it's nonsense. Like, I just don't know how this is happening, you know, but it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I kept thinking about this tiny home, and I was talking with my wife because, and this is why my day is going good, way before my fucking transmission decides to poop. And it's in limp mode. I don't have the fucking money for this, man. So what am I? An asshole. You know, I'm an asshole. And I thought to myself, see, this is why I kept talking about the, you know what, I need to eat the L, go to the tiny home, and not have these giant bills that if something stupid like this happens, I can take care of it myself. I don't need to bother anyone with this type of shit at all. And you know what? And that's what I said. I need to properly identify the problem. And so I talked about the tiny home, you know, with her, and I can't, you know, I said, damn, we spending such and such and such on bills every month, and it doesn't stop. There's no end to it, okay? And that's for everybody. But I said, damn, I could have, I said, fuck, man, over the last 2 years, I bought 2 of these motherfuckers. And you know what? I probably had a favor to call in to friends who could have just said, oh, damn, you really want to do that? Okay, well, here, do that. And then now you can, it's going to be, it'd be easy to pay someone back because I have no bills. Like, thank you, you know, but it's not like that. Like, I was, oh, you know what? I need to do X, Y, or Z. And that'll improve my already losing situation. And it's a gross miscalculation on my part, because I'm just too close to the edge. Too many variables, and I can just change the main one, and it would be a real difference in my life. It would be a huge difference. And it's important that I do this now, because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do next. You know, I'm really getting sick of the thought of this. The thought of a disaster of proportions that I can't stop happening over or randomly. Like, no matter how hard I push forward, this is really shitty way to exist with massive amounts of stress. Like, I have to go out every single day and be perfect in the moment. And no one is perfect. So it's just like a guaranteed certainty that I'm going to hit a snag. And because I'm not overachieving, I'm a little over lunch money, but not further or much more above that. I'm just shit out of luck, and I'm so sick of it. And so, yeah, at this point, I'm really in desperate need of this change. And I think, I don't know. I don't want to insult my audience. I don't think you guys are retarded, but I'm like, yo, dude, like, you could start with $1, right? It's not outrageous. And think about the church. Like, you know how many people be like, yo, Saint, do some church. You know, at the church, they require 10% of you. You think they gather in there for any other reason? Because they know they putting that collection plate out. They don't even want your tithes. They don't want your 10%. They want you to go back in your pocket after you paid your tithes. And they send that collection plate around called for an offering. You know what I mean? And they got everybody staring at everybody else looking crazy, like, look at them, they ain't put nothing in that plate. They just passed it, motherfucker. You know, they shame your ass into giving to it. That's why the church is the richest entity on the planet, you know, that's non-governmental or whatever. And I'm like, damn, I love to do church. Like, this would fundamentally change my life so much. Maybe even more than I think Pulse Chain would have if it actually did anything. Because I think maybe I needed to come to this kind of point to adjust my thinking. I never thought like this. I would never have considered taking a tiny home. But I think the circumstances in my life have aligned to just give me a new perspective of being a little more modest and humble, which I have no problem doing. And then have zero bills. That means I can use all my income, whether it's for repayment, for investment, for any number of activities that would net me more income. In fact, I could probably live off a fucking part-time joke job if I were to change my living circumstances that way. Why am I paying thousands of dollars of recurring bills every single month, you know, as a basis for my existence and survival, while I have 4 children? Man, this shit it's out of control for me. You know, it's always something. And so I can change that. And then once I do that, it'll be different. But right now I can't do it. I don't have 30 grand saved up. I have nowhere near it. And I know it's a tough ask and it might seem outrageous, but I don't really, I swear to goodness, I've thought about it over and over. I see people, and I'm not envious, but I see people just throwing their money at dumb shit. Like, I think the easiest thing to do is like, yo, I know you're, like, if I could, I would. I see people, you know, they're good people. I got a couple extra dollars to give them $10. Yo, like, eat something, bro. Like, I mean, you know, that's just me. I did this the other day. And so, you know, like, I feel like, see, like, I wish I could give them people a job, you know, like, and if my shit was going a certain way, I could be expanding my already fledgling coming back small business and be prepared for any emergencies I face and start stacking my paper instead of just giving it away to my circumstances over and over and over. Like, it's just a horrible way to live, and everyone is doing it. Like, the majority of people in the country are living paycheck to paycheck, you know, hand to mouth on some retarded shit. And it's like, you know what though? I'm gonna start a new fucking trend. I'm gonna eat the L and go backwards, happily, gracefully, and say, this is actually way fucking better. You don't know how bad I wish I was there now. Because I never want to face the situation where I look to someone that calls me a friend and say, hey man, I need something. I'd rather be the shoe on the other foot. And I think this is going to make me a way better person to be in that position, knowing how hard life is, and be like, yo man, you need to switch it up. If you're willing to switch it up, I got you. Because I'm literally, with the amount of money I'm earning now, I could buy one every, like, you know, after taxes and bullshit expenses, I could buy one of these motherfuckers every year. And that's crazy. And in fact, I could accelerate the expansion of the thing that's actually earning me money if I didn't have to worry about bills. You know, like, it's just always in the way. And in these catastrophic little disasters that, you know, it's just part of what I'm doing. So I have to anticipate them, but the margin's too thin right now because I'm short a man, I'm short an employee. And so now I just feel like a crunchy dumb fuck, you know, but I'm trying as hard as I can to, like, just move forward. Like, I don't think I overextended. I think I'm just, you know, what else am I supposed to do? What are we all supposed to do? Survive, man. and I can change this from survival to thrival. You know, just fall backwards, fall back, get the tiny home. What are we talking about? Like, this is the, I wish I was intelligent enough or realistic enough. My circumstance, I wish they would have pushed me to this idea sooner, because I probably, I don't know, maybe I burned all my goodwill with everyone, my audience, my friends, my family, who knows. I'm an ambitious person, maybe to a fault. I don't want to fucking live in the rat race no more, though. I'm so sick of it. And I don't want my kids to see me continue to struggle through the rat race. Like, that's just not good for them either. And so I'm like, nah, there's got to be a better way, man. And there is. So I am a little surprised that nothing has happened. Like, but you know, hey, that's life, man. People just be what it is. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm getting to the point where I'm realizing, even though this is a fun thing for me to do and a passionate thing for me to do, don't be surprised, man, if I just fall off the map. Because if I'm faced with a situation to fix my situation where I need to send my family off somewhere again, I'm terrified of that, because I already had to have them brought back in a way that was not favorable. So I don't even want to even have that discussion with them. So I'm really definitely willing to go do this tiny home thing and make sure we, stay together, because I'm not doing that shit again. I really don't want to. But, I have to make grown man choices and make sure they're good. But I don't really want to even give it the thought. I don't want to terrorize them with the thought, because I can't trust anybody, Nobody loves your kids or your family more than you do. And it's really fucked up to think like that. Like, you'll think other people related to you are is equally invested in people's health and well-being as you are, and they're not. And that's just life too. Sometimes you find strangers and your friends are closer to you than your family is, and that's just another sign of the times, man. God coming, she's just taking her time, bro. So I don't really care to talk about. I think if I'm ever going to talk again, it's going to be about the things that are in front of me, man. I love crypto. I'm always gonna. I think it's going to be a big part of my life going forward, and it always has been since I've encountered it. But like, it's less for me to talk about. I don't have the happiness or the joy inside of me while I have all this lifing. It takes everything out of me. I'm surprised I talked this long about this, because like, I am a little flabbergasted. I said, damn, not even, I have a lot of people listening to my channel. It's like, dude, how come, I think it was like 150 views. Let me say it's 50 views. Yeah, why ain't there $50 in there? Because nobody, either we're all retarded because we're in crypto, of course, but I don't think y'all that retarded, or you're right in the same boat as me, which is unsurprising. So maybe if I get to this point where I get my tiny home and my situation changes, maybe that's going to continue to be a fucking, like, a mainstay objective and goal to keep getting them. Maybe for people I know, if life is life and like that for you too, shit, we might tiny home next to each other and finally hang out on some real shit, or, a tiny home where you at and figure it out, like, and move forward though. It's much better than just slaving and waving. I remember my homeboy told me, because he lived in the big city, like damn near when the pandemic was, paying 4 racks just for base rent. Like, fuck, like that's just too much. And now everything in my zone is just like pushing that. That's not in the middle of a fucking war zone. And I'm just not putting my kids through that. I just can't. So it's like, what? I'll take the woods, man. I'll take the woods, man. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing it to them, because I'm hard rock. I'm in the hood every day. I got one of America's most dangerous jobs. Always have had one, and it's like, damn, that's where you at? Oh yeah. In the hood, and it's like, yeah, I put myself at risk every day. And I'm terribly concerned that, you know, whether through accident or on purpose, one day, man, that shit could become a real threat or danger to me and leave my wife and my kids vulnerable, because I don't see them being able to, well, her being able to care for them kids as a part-time mom or single mom because something happens to me. You know, I need to make sure that they're okay, you know, and that they're okay if I walk down the, you know, pull out the driveway and get ran over by a semi or something, you know what I mean? You never know, you know, life be lifing. So this is really important for me, and I think it's more important to a lot of people too, and either they're not ready to admit it or they don't want to share that. But yeah, man, it's time. This is a real topic. You see, I've talked about it this long because it's very serious. Like, you know, if I don't change this, I'm gonna come to impossible crossroads, and I'm at one again, and I'm just like I'm so sick of it, man. And this one trick can just switch the whole situation onto its head. So yeah, I ain't going nowhere. And you're gonna get a lot more of me if I get to where I need to go. So that's gonna be yeah, you know, like I just don't even know what to say, man. Some things are not for the gram, but this is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this is gonna be a fundamental change in part of my existence here from now on, if at all. Like this has to happen for me, and I think you can be a part of it. And if you don't, it's okay, man. If you can't, it's okay. If you're just in the same fucking boat, man, I can't wait to get you one too. Hopefully it happens and you change it, because you probably are doing the same thing I'm doing, which is overspending for fucking a joke just to stay close to your job that ties you to the fucking the thing that is just raping you of your lifespan. And I can't do that, man. I'm out. Anymore. I can't do it. I'm out.